All right, how to start getting fit. What is the first step to getting fit? So you've decided after watching my last video or through whatever reason that you finally want to get off your fat ass and start working out. Just get yourself together, start getting fit, start looking good, whether you're running a marathon, whether you want to look better, whether you want to lift more weights, whether you want to avoid injuries. How do you start? What is the first step? Well, I'm going to tell you what I did. Now, with every sort of video like this, I'm going to put out a disclaimer because one of you idiots out there is going to do something I say and it's not going to work for them, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, no, I'm going to sue you because what you said injured me, blah, blah, blah. So I have to do this stupid disclaimer like everybody does. So, disclaimer, I'm not a qualified fitness expert. I do not have a degree in anything in that field. What I'm saying is what worked for me. It's suggestions and, let's say, ideas from friend to a friend that may work for you. So always do your own research, your own due diligence, and yeah, I'll tell you how we begin. So when I first decided I needed to get my stuff together, it was through fitness. So for those of you, again, that came from one of my last videos, fitness was the gateway for me improving as a person. And how I began that was very, very, very simple. So, of course, skipping all the mindset stuff, I'm going to be talking about heaps of those later on. We're actually going to talk about the things you physically do on the first step. So what did I do? All I did was I started doing planks. All right? I'm sure most of you know what planks are. If you don't, just Google it. Right? So I started doing planks, and it wasn't for long. I would do them for about 5 minutes in total, every day, for a week, 2 weeks. It was only 5 minutes a day. And after 1 to 2 weeks, started seeing results. Combined, of course, with diet. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So, obviously, you can take that and, you start doing 5 minutes of planks yourself every day. And it's not 5 minutes, like, all at once. No, that's ridiculous. I know even some people that are somewhat fit that still find that a bit difficult. It's not 5 minutes at once. It's 5 minutes in total, split up. So maybe you do 1 minute, a normal plank, and then you do a side plank for 30 seconds or 45, and then you switch to the other side for 30 or 45, then you go back to the normal plank, etc., etc. So all of that was 5 minutes in total. And I remember watching this video about it. I followed this video. I don't know what the exact video was, but it was from a YouTube channel called Brightside, and they had this video on 5 minutes of plank workouts that you can do, and I just followed that. But yeah, that's all I did physically. Now, that is a very, very important factor. The fact that I did basically nothing, right? It was only 5 minutes a day. I wasn't pumping weights. I wasn't going for runs. Like I was just doing planks in my bedroom. So what the important thing is that your diet is actually more important than the actual exercise you do. Sure, the first action was to get off your fat ass and do the actual exercise. But diet also comes into play. To lose fat, we'll assume that you're fat, you have to eat less calories than you expend. So I'm not going to go through the whole technical basics, but basically the energy that you take in from food has to be less than the energy that you output from your day-to-day existence. Because breathing takes energy, your heart beating takes energy, walking takes energy, lifting up, getting your fat ass up from the seat to the toilet takes energy, right? So those are energy burned. Not a lot, of course, in those actions, but they are energy burned. And your day-to-day existence, it's called your maintenance calories. You can search it up. There's calculators on the internet that you can find out what your maintenance calories are. Search that up and eat food and plan the food throughout the day that is probably about a couple hundred calories below your maintenance calories. That is the key. to start losing weight. Now, the fatter you are, the faster you're going to start seeing results. Assuming you do a little bit of exercise, again, not much, just a little bit, and cut down your diet. Now, that's actually the hardest part. Some people think, oh, but, lifting weights is hard, going for runs is hard, blah, blah, blah. Well, the funny thing is, that's not even the main part, and it's not the hardest part. The hardest part is sticking to that calorie deficit. And that calorie deficit is being consistent with it is what helps you lose weight. Now, if you want to gain weight, it's the opposite. If you want to gain muscle, let's say you're skinny, like a stick, right? There's a special someone I know in my life that I'm related to that's skinny like a stick. I'm not going to call you out blatantly, but you know who you are if you watch this video. You're skinny like a stick. You want to put on muscle. And you have to do the opposite. And it's going to be a bit harder for you because you're going to have to do a little bit more. You have to eat more calories than you expend. So instead of eating less calories than you expend, you have to eat more because you're gaining body mass. But you just can't eat more and still sit on your ass all day, because that's how you become fat. So how do you gain muscle? Well, instead of just chilling out and doing 5 minutes worth of planks a day, you're going to have to lift some weights. I hate to break it to you, there's no shortcut to gain muscle. You got to strength train. Go to the gym, start lifting weights. Actually, you don't even need to go to the gym. I didn't go to the gym. I just did push-ups and sit-ups in my room. And I was lucky enough to have 2 pairs of dumbbells, but they weren't heavy. They're probably like 8 kgs each. So they weren't heavy. So I didn't have much to work with, but for strength training, you can just start doing push-ups. Start doing push-ups. Start doing sit-ups. If you game a lot, if you play a lot of video games, in your loading screen, do some push-ups. When you queue up, do some push-ups. Do some sit-ups while you're waiting for something. So, there's no excuse, right? Oh, I don't have enough money to go to the gym. Oh, I don't have a car to go to the gym. You don't need the gym. Stop making excuses. Push-ups and sit-ups and planks. That's all you need. That's all you need to get started. So, if you're skinny, eat more calories than you spend. Find out what your maintenance calorie is on an online calculator. Just Google maintenance calorie calculator or something. And eat more than that. And not only that, eat food with a lot of protein. So we're talking about meats. We're talking about protein powder if you want to eat protein powder. We're talking about certain types of vegetables like spinach, beans, kidney beans, specifically red meat, chicken, beef, lean meat, venison, eggs. Have a high protein diet and start lifting weights and eat more calories than you expend. That is how you gain muscle. If you want to lose fat, do a little bit of exercise so you don't lose muscle on the way, and just eat less calories than you spend. That's it. It's literally that simple. All these fitness channels out there, they'll get into more detail about it, but as a beginner and you want to get started, that is literally it. Sounds simple, right? Now all you got to do is stick to it. Now, I wasn't skinny. I was a bit fat. So I can't really speak from experience from being skinny and trying to gain muscle, but I can speak from experience about being fat and trying to lose the weight. Now, the first thing you're going to struggle with is obviously the hunger factor, right? You're eating less food. And depending on how fat you are and how greedy and how undisciplined you've been, the difficulty of and the degree of hunger that you experience could be quite extreme at times. Now, there are certain ways to help mitigate this, but I personally I just withstood it. That's it. I didn't take any pills. I didn't take any weight loss medicine. I was hungry. I'm not eating. That's it. All I had was like a mini bowl, probably think about this big, like a bowl this big of cornflakes for breakfast, half a sandwich with just shredded chicken breast and spinach for lunch, and the same bowl of rice for dinner with a little bit of meat. And that was it. That was my diet for losing weight. But of course, I understand not everyone has that level of mental strength to just simply endure the hunger. And I understand that, again, depending on how big of an adjustment it is, that your hunger can be quite extreme to the point where it is borderline impossible to endure. Well, I'm not exactly a big fan of taking certain pills and whatnot, because I like to be natural. But I can tell you guys some foods that are actually very satiating, meaning that they can fill you up without having a lot of calories. So for example, eggs. You eat an egg or two, you feel full for quite a bit. Eggs, they're very satiating food. If you're cutting calories, celery is a good one. Celery, cucumber, they're mostly made of water, and water's got no calories. So you can eat like a whole stalk of celery and only consume like 12 calories. And they fill you up quite a bit. I used to have celery sticks and I dipped them in chili oil. Best thing ever. So yeah, celery, cucumber, have yourself some blueberries, mushrooms, spinach, whether it's actual spinach or baby spinach, doesn't matter, spinach, broccoli, cauliflower. That's basically what I ate. Oh, pickles. I love pickles. But yeah, that's basically what I ate to negate my hunger. So whenever I felt hungry, went to the fridge, got some celery stalks, cut them up, just started snacking on them. That was it. So those are some of the foods that that you can eat to kind of fill up your hunger, to stave it off. But again, it comes down to discipline, right? My last video, how I learned discipline for esports. That's something that some of you has to learn through going on this physical improvement journey. And part of that is sticking to a diet. And the reason why most people fail is because they pick a very, very extreme diet. And because the diet was so extreme and unsustainable, it doesn't become part of their lifestyle. So they go back to whatever they're doing, and then they get fat or they get skinny or whatever again. So pick a diet that's realistic to stick to for basically the rest of your life. So let's say you like eating KFC wicked wings, like me. But, you're like, oh, but cutting out KFC wicked wings completely, that's ridiculous. I can never do that. Okay, sure, I understand. They're freaking delicious. But I'm not saying if you like eating something, you have to cut them out completely, because that craving will just get back to you and eventually it'll get you. What's important is that, again, what matters is the calorie numbers. If you're losing fat, you're trying to keep the calories low. So if you want to eat wicked wings, have it once a week. Let's say I want to have wicked wings on a Saturday. Okay, how much calories in the wicked wings? Google that up. Okay, well, by then you should already know how much your calories you should be eating. So if I'm eating wicked wings on Saturday, let's eat less on Thursday and Friday. So by the time that I finish eating the wicked wings on Saturday, it's all balances out. All right, it teaches you a little bit of forward planning, along with the discipline, of course. So keep a diet. Like if you like something, figure out a way to incorporate it into your diet without how do I say it? Without messing around with the calorie numbers. I still eat wicked wings. I still eat stuff like wicked wings. I have sour gummy worms, wine gums. I have a couple of unhealthy stuff every now and then. But it works because I'm very well aware that when I eat something like that, I know whether I have the discipline to eat less the next day, or whether to train more, or whether to go on more runs, whatever. I can adjust to that. So discipline is key. Consistency is key. I know a lot of you nowadays have your dopamine systems completely fried by all these shorts and reels that you're probably going to see in this one. But the key thing is that weight loss or body improvement is not an instant gratification thing. It doesn't come overnight. I'm sure many people have told you this. So don't give up when you've been doing planks for 3 days and be like, oh, I'm not seeing anything, I'm still fat. No, you have to stay consistent, right? And I'm actually surprised that some of you made it this far in the video. Most of you would have clicked off by now because your brain is just that screwed up. by how things are on the internet these days. Just scrolling reels, one by one. Zero attention span. But if you have made it this far into the video, I commend you. I truly do. And the people that do make it this far, you guys, there's still hope for you. And you guys, I can save you. We can move up together. So, summarize. You're trying to lose weight, you're fat. Find out what your maintenance calories are. Google. Find out what calories foods are. Eat less calories than you expend. Do 5 minutes of exercise a day. That's it. Just 5 minutes. That's it. Keep it consistent, you lose fat. You're skinny, you try to gain muscle. Eat more calories than you expend. Again, find out what those are on the internet. Find out what the calories of the food you eat are. And strength train. Don't need to go to the gym. Don't need a car. Push-ups, sit-ups, planks, on your bed, on the floor, in your bedroom. That's it. No more excuses. That's what I did. So guys, that's how you take your first step to improving yourself. And I hope it helps. Good on you guys for making it this far into video. I hope you guys found a lot of value. This video was more tailored towards the beginners out there that want to get things rolling. And yeah, I'll go a bit more detail in future videos. So remember guys, stay focused. Stay relentless.